Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making a basa Asian rice noodles dish. We start off with our noodles, rice noodles. I use some salt, about a teaspoon of salt in a shallow dish, and I pour boiling hot water where I'm gonna add my rice noodles. This is how we cook the rice noodles, just in the boiling water, and we set this aside for about 6 minutes. Make sure it's fully covered by the water. I've had to pour just a little bit more so that everything is covered, because whatever parts are not covered will not be soft like they should. After 6 minutes of soaking, my noodles are translucent and ready. I drain the water off of these, and then using a teaspoon of olive oil, I'm just going to cover all of the noodles with the oil in order for them not to stick together while they wait for the rest of the prep. Now for our prep of edamame. Edamame are Japanese green soybeans that are in the pot still. Using boiling water, about 1.5 liters, and a teaspoon of salt, I boil them for about 3 minutes. This is just so the pods become softer and easier to work with. I drain this after it's ready, after 3 minutes, and then wait for it to cool slightly before working with it, removing the actual beans from the pods individually. Then we use pork choi. We remove all the bases of the pork choi and get rid of them. And then we separate the stems from the leaves. So we are using both the stems and the leaves in the cooking process. However, they do have different cooking times, and so we separate them. The stems will be thinly sliced and set aside. Pak choi is a Chinese cabbage. This is very easily accessible actually. I found these at Checkers in the vegetable section. And so this is an ingredient we didn't necessarily grow up, using. But you'll know that green vegetables are very good for us. So I like to have options, but also this is an Asian inspired dish, so I wanted to stick to very Asian ingredients. The leaves are just being cut once lengthwise and also being set aside in a side plate for later when I go through to cook these. Lastly, I just roughly chopped pickled peppers. These are in the gherkins and pepper juice section in the grocery store. I am also keeping a bit of the pickling liquid because it's quite it's got that sourness that I'm gonna impart onto my dish. Now on a high heat, I am pouring about a teaspoon of olive oil, and I am pan frying my fish. This is basa that I'm using currently. However, hay could work very well with this dish. In fact, any of your favorite fishes, fish. Yeah, it's fish, not fishes. Would work extremely well with this recipe. I am seasoning this with some salt and pepper. And you'll see that I added some herbed butter, and the reason for that is I was noticing that my fish is very flaky and it's actually sticking to the bottom. So butter is very good at if you want your food or whatever it is you're making not to stick. It's got a non-stick property about it. So this took about 4 minutes, 2 minutes on each side, and it is now ready. I'm using the same pan with the burnt bits from the fish, and I use about a tablespoon of olive oil, and then I go in with the pork choi stems. Then I I am using some fish sauce, about 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. You know, fish sauce is used widely in Asian cooking. And then I am also using some ponzu. Ponzu is also a Japanese sauce that's quite flavorful and tangy, so I am using that with the fish sauce as flavoring agents and seasoning agents, but also because they are liquid, they are helping me deglaze my pan. So this is a nice cooking trick to know that if you've fried something and you're still working with the same flavors, you can definitely use the same pot, and this actually adds more flavor to the dish that you are currently making. So I am now adding my peppers and the edamame that I peeled earlier. Now with the peppers, if you don't have pickled peppers, you can use normal peppers. They would work just fine in this recipe. The pork choi leaves now go in with a chili paste. Now my chili paste was quickly made now, and I used 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, and then I used a teaspoon of chili flakes, and I mixed those together to make the paste. Now I'm just gonna quickly pour about a tablespoon of honey, and this is to help me with all the acidity that's in here. Remember, I have pickled peppers and I use some ponzu, which is quite tangy as well. So the sweetness from the honey will just calm all of those sour flavors down. This process is very fast because everything doesn't need that much cooking. I just wanted the leaves to wilt, and you see they've wilted quite a bit, and I have used some coriander leaves. Now for the plating, I have gone back to my noodles that we made earlier. You'll notice I'm using my hands. I do this a lot because I am cooking for myself. You should use tongs though if you have them. I am now putting my mixture onto the noodles. You'll notice I didn't stir fry this. It was very much a braising process with the sauce. It wasn't a frying process. This recipe calls for braising and not frying because I wanted a bit of that sauce to go onto my noodles, as you can see. However, if you want to stir fry these, you can. You will just have a much drier dish than what I have currently. So I garnish with herbs. So I always garnish with the herb that I would have used in the dish. I use coriander in the dish. I am garnishing with some coriander. And lastly, some black sesame seeds, keeping with our Asian theme. This is ready, and I'm extremely happy with this. As always, there's a lot of things that you can, change and make your own here. This is merely a guideline of what you should be doing if you are trying to get an Asian dish to taste as authentic as possible. As always, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications.